How good was Lady Gaga? Actually, Lady Gaga once performed in front of more people than the population of some countries. She became the first artist in history to win an Oscar, Grammy, Golden Globe, and BAFTA in the same year. She has sold more than 120 million records. She has multiple diamond-certified songs, and at her peak, it felt like she could do anything. Pop music, jazz, acting, fashion, even philanthropy. But here's the strange part. None of that was supposed to happen. Lady Gaga was dropped by her first record label. Music executives didn't understand her. Critics called her bizarre. Some people thought she was famous only because of outrageous outfits. And after one career-threatening album, many believed her best days were already behind her. So how good was Lady Gaga actually? And was she really one of the greatest entertainers of her generation? To answer that, we need to go back to a time before the fame, before the meat dress, before Poker Face, before millions of little monsters around the world. Back when Lady Gaga was just Stefani Germanotta, and honestly, nothing about her story suggested she would become a global superstar. Unlike many future pop icons, Gaga wasn't discovered on social media. She wasn't a Disney star. She didn't come from a famous music family. Instead, she spent years grinding through tiny New York clubs where most performers never make it out alive. She was talented. Everyone could see that. But talent alone doesn't create legends. And Gaga was about to learn that lesson the hard way. At just 19 years old, she signed with Def Jam Records. For most aspiring musicians, this is the dream, the big break, the moment everything changes. Except for Gaga, it changed in the wrong direction. Just months after signing her contract, Def Jam dropped her. No hit songs, no career, no backup plan. Imagine being told by one of the biggest record labels in the world that you're not good enough. Many artists would have quit right there. Gaga got angry, and that may have been the best thing that ever happened to her, because being rejected forced her to become something completely different. Instead of trying to fit into pop music, she decided pop music would have to fit around her. She dyed her hair blonde, started experimenting with outrageous fashion, studied performance art, and built a character so unique that nobody could ignore her. Then in 2008, everything exploded. Just Dance became a hit. Poker Face became an even bigger hit. Suddenly, Gaga wasn't an unknown singer anymore. She was everywhere: radio, television, award shows, magazines, nightclubs, and this is where most artists would have slowed down. Gaga accelerated. In 2009, she released Bad Romance, and that's when she stopped being a pop star and became a phenomenon. The song was massive, the video was unforgettable, and every appearance felt like performance art. Nobody knew what Gaga would do next. One day, she was arriving inside an egg. The next, she was wearing outfits that looked like they came from another planet. Then came the meat dress. One of the most talked about outfits in entertainment history. People laughed. People got angry. Animal rights groups criticized her. The internet exploded. But Gaga had achieved exactly what she wanted. Everyone was paying attention. And beneath all the controversy was something many people overlooked. She actually had the talent to back it up. Because while headlines focused on her outfits, musicians focused on her voice. Lady Gaga possesses a vocal range of roughly 3 octaves. She can belt powerful high notes, switch into jazz phrasing, then sit at a piano and deliver a ballad with almost no production at all. Many singers can dance. Many singers can sing. Very few can do both at an elite level. Gaga could, and nowhere was that more obvious than her concerts. Critics described her shows as theatrical spectacles, massive sets, costume changes, pyrotechnics, acrobatics, live vocals, somehow happening at the same time. Imagine sprinting across a stage, dancing non-stop, flying through the air, then hitting difficult notes without sounding out of breath. That's what Gaga was doing night after night. Reviewers regularly described her as being at the peak of her powers. One critic even said she was never not on. And for a while, it looked like she might stay on top forever. Then came the backlash, because every superstar eventually meets resistance, and Gaga was no exception. By 2013, she had become so famous that some people were tired of hearing about her. Every outfit became a headline. Every interview became a story. Every move became a debate. Then art pop arrived. The expectations were enormous. The response wasn't. Suddenly, people started asking questions they hadn't asked in years. Was Lady Gaga declining? Had she become more famous than her music? Was the Gaga era ending? It was the biggest challenge of her career, and it forced her to reinvent herself again. What happened next shocked almost everyone. Instead of doubling down on pop music, she made a jazz album with Tony Bennett. On paper, it sounded ridiculous. A modern pop superstar recording jazz standards with an artist old enough to be her grandfather.
I'm so thrilled to be
It
here
should have
tonight.
failed. Instead, it debuted at #1 and won a Grammy. Then, Gaga did it again and again. Every time people put her in a box, she escaped. Pop star, jazz singer, actress, activist. She kept adding new layers, but her greatest comeback was still ahead. In 2018, she starred in A Star Is Born. And suddenly, the world saw a different Gaga. Not the outrageous celebrity, not the fashion icon, not the controversy magnet, just a performer. The movie was a massive success. Her performance earned critical acclaim, and Shallow became one of the defining songs of the decade. The track won an Oscar, a Grammy, a Golden Globe, and a BAFTA, making Gaga the first person ever to achieve all four in a single year. At that moment, the debate changed. People stopped asking whether Lady Gaga was still relevant and started asking where she ranked among the greatest entertainers ever. Because by then, her resume was absurd. More than 120 million records sold, multiple diamond singles, 16 Grammy Awards, a Golden Globe, an Academy Award, historic tours, #1 albums, and influence that stretched far beyond music. She co-founded the Born This Way Foundation, advocated for mental health awareness, spoke openly about bullying and trauma, and inspired millions of fans who saw themselves in her message. Which brings us back to the question, how good was Lady Gaga actually? The answer is simple. Very few artists become global superstars. Even fewer survive long enough to reinvent themselves. And almost nobody succeeds in music, film, fashion, live performance, and activism simultaneously. Lady Gaga did all of it. She wasn't the best singer ever. She wasn't the best actress ever. She wasn't the best songwriter ever. But she may be one of the most complete entertainers of the modern era. Because while most artists master one skill, Lady Gaga mastered almost everything. And that's why, more than 15 years after Poker Face first took over the world, she remains exactly what she has always been. Impossible to ignore.